And welcome back. This is your man Warrior. This is another patron roster review, and this is Kitiota. Kitiota's from Eternal Beta Test, and Kitiota loves Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum and is running Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum or ATF in the arena, and so wants to know a little bit more about arena teams with her. What should he use with this particular setup? Next Zetas that he should be doing, ships, is he doing it right with ships? The Rancor, he kind of wants to be able to solo. And then, of course, the Heroic AAT, kind of, should he be focused on a bunch of teams or just one or two teams? Or which characters would be most impactful? And kind of general overall farming for characters, which he mentioned he was farming First Order. And then he was kicking half of his energy over to the veterans. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So, looking at your arena team, I actually think this is probably, for what you have, the best composition. You have been playing for a little over a year and you're barely qualified as a Dolphin. You have spent very, 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 very little. You're probably almost mostly free to play with how little you've actually spent. Now you have the Commander Luke Skywalker and R2-D2 at gear 12, so I highly recommend that they make their way into your arena team, and of course Commander Luke makes the most sense as a leader. If you're going to run with a Rebels theme, R2-D2, Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum, Princess Leia, and Obi-Wan do make the best sense. Now, I am going to suggest to you a couple of things. The first is that when your Han Solo gets his first Zeta on shoots first and gets to gear 11 with a little finishing up his mods, I would highly recommend you use him to actually replace Leia. Now, I know I always suggest Leia and Old Ben with Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum to max out her capability and potential, but you only lose one buff going from Leia to Han Solo, and Han Solo is actually more durable, does far more damage more consistently, and has more utility on a team. So I would suggest that you bring in your Han Solo. Now, I looked and you're needing obviously to gear up your characters a little bit for arena. Old Ben, Han Solo, they need a little bit more gear. Also, I looked at your mods, which you wanted me to do, and they look overall really well, except speed secondaries. And I'm sure you're trying your hardest with speed secondaries, but Old Ben, your goal is going to be around 200 secondary speed, and you're at 160. I know what I'm asking is very difficult, but if you don't have a target, you won't know what to shoot for. Also, same thing with Han Solo. You're going to want to get Han Solo well over 200, preferably closer to 220, and right now you've got him at 156. So he's not going to be very viable at 156, so you definitely want to focus on your mods, a little bit more gear, and then of course Zeta. Now you've got Zetas missing on Commander Luke, R2-D2, Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum, and Old Ben, and also Han Solo. So you kind of need Zetas on almost everyone. Your Zeta priority, you told me, was going to be It Binds All Things for your leader. I'm going to say go ahead and make that your number one Zeta. That's fine. Then you were going to do, of course, Numbers Crunch on R2-D2. And of course, that would be another really fine Zeta. And then you wanted to do Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum, Han Solo, Finn, and Old Ben. And so I actually am going to say your Zeta order that you're suggesting for yourself is excellent. I really do believe that the CLS, then the R2, ATF, Han Solo, and then Finn, because by the time you get to your fifth Zeta, you should or better have your resistance in order, and then finish it off with Old Ben's Devoted Protector. So that covers arena and the next Zetas. You did have a question on ships. You said you're running an old school target lock team with the Executrix, with Biggs, the Umbaran, and the 3 ties, and I am going to tell you unequivocally, yes, 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 this is a phenomenal team. However, you will eventually obviously want to focus on unlocking the TIE Reaper, and you do not have the TIE Reaper anywhere inside of your inventory, and you've got to work on those crew members. Now, as far as Rancor, you said you are able to solo the Rancor, but it's manual battle. It takes many characters. You're using characters such as Jyn Erso and Commander Luke Skywalker, R2-D2. You got this whole build out, and I get it. If you can get your Han Solo over 200 speed and Commander Luke Skywalker over 200 speed with them both at 7-star, of course, your Han Solo needs that 7th star to participate in the heroic Rancor. You can just use those two characters. Once Han Solo has his Zeta and they're both over 200 speed, you can literally just hit auto and walk away. I do this all the time. I am obviously very busy at work at times, and all I do is put those two characters in, hit auto, and walk away and help what I need to help, and I can still solo it. So your Han Solo's speed and 7th star are going to have to come, and then you'll have the characters you need for Rancor. I wouldn't focus on anybody else for that. Now for heroic AAT, you already asked me and said, I'm sure it's probably going to be Resistance, and you're right. Resistance is the way to go. Now, with the amount of Resistance characters coming into the game, you're going to need Jedi Training Rey and BB-8, so we're going to give you a plan of action for that. But those two plus the top 6 equal 8, and that is enough to create 2 teams as long as you're bringing in your arena teams such as CLS and Raid Han. You'll be able to create 2 really good overpowered teams, Resistance for Phase 2, and then that hybrid Resistance Rebel team for Phase 3/4. And for the Phase 2 team, you would use basically your top row, except for R2-D2. You would want to have the Rey Scavenger, Poe, Finn, Resistance Pilot, and Trooper, and speed isn't as big a deal. However, gearing them is, you're going to want to use them everywhere, including territory battles, so you'll want to continue passively raising up the gear level on the Resistance. The other team will include the 2 characters you do not have yet, but you will get through our farming plan. That will be BB-8 and Jedi Training Rey. And then you'll bring in R2-D2, whom you already have, Han Solo, whom you'll have at 7 stars by the time this team is developed, and CLS. Now, obviously, I just said that you're going to get BB-8 so you can get Rey, and the only way you're going to get BB-8 is to work on your First Order. And I know you asked, should you be doing First Order Stormtrooper or Kylo Ren, because First Order Stormtrooper is such a great tank. I'm going to tell you, because you're a very, very small Dolphin, almost mostly free to play, that you really need to go the path of least resistance. That means that Kylo Ren, Captain Phasma, First Order TIE Pilot, First Order Officer, and Kylo Ren Unmasked are going to be the top 5 in your lineup and the top 5 that you work on. At some point, you will want to get your First Order Stormtrooper leveled up, geared up. However, Kylo Ren Unmasked is a far easier farm right now, and he's 2 birds, 1 stone. You get him and his ship at the same time. He also is the best leader for the First Order, and he's, like I said, going to be the path of least resistance. You'll still need to get the 7th star on First Order Officer and First Order TIE Pilot, but with these few characters, finishing them off and getting Kylo Ren Unmasked up and startup and geared up, you will be able to get BB-8 the next time he comes around, and then you'll be able to get Rey if you also put in your farming list your veteran smugglers, Han and Chewie, right now 4 and 3 stars respectively. So your main focus will be First Order. Your passive side projects will be the veterans. And then also you'll need to finish the stars on Finn in your resistance, and you're going to be focused on resistance for the heroic AAT. So resistance and First Order and the veterans, those are really who you're going to focus on. With the resistance and First Order, your gearing is already at gear 8 for the most part. So you're already halfway there. I'm really excited to see where you go with all of this. So Kitiota, you're doing wonderful as a very, very small Dolphin. Remember, with the team you have, it's fine. You're just going to have to continue to gear them. You're going to have to continue to put better mods on them so you can get them faster. And my suggestion is sub Han Solo once he gets his Zeta in for Leia. Make sure you do the Zeta lists that you suggested, which was CLS, R2, ATF, Han Solo, Finn, and then Old Ben. And again, Rancor will come naturally with CLS and Han Solo once you get them both over 200 speed. And the Heroic AAT will be those hybrid resistance team and the resistance team. And for farming, you need to finish your resistance, First Order, and the vets. As always, if you have suggestions for Kitiota, leave them in the comments down below and keep your gaming on. Warrior out.